Hey everybody, it's Jason. So I'm here with a video that's been requested, and that is my favorite scents for fall. And I thought this video would also be really good for people on CBB Addicts Unite, because I see threads all the time, what are some of your favorite scents for fall, that kind of thing. So I thought this would be just a really good resource for people to go to if they're looking for some good fall scents. So what I've done is I picked out 10 scents that are my favorites for fall, and I've divided them into 5 for early fall and 5 for late fall. And then I have 3 special candles that I'm going to talk about at the end. I figured I would post this video now in August rather than waiting, so that way if you want to order some of these scents and burn them in fall, you actually have time to do so. So you can definitely get them in September and have plenty of time to burn them throughout the fall. So we'll go ahead and get started with my early fall scents. So the first one that I have here is Apples and Oaks. And this is just a really great apple scent. If you love apple, but you're not super obsessed with spice, then this is the way to go. It has absolutely no spice in it at all. Basically, it is a really sweet apple with kind of a green woody note in it from the oak. And it almost smells kind of like an apple tree to me. I really, really like it though, and I think it is perfect for September. Next one here is Spiced Pear. And I picked this one because it's a little bit different from all the other ones that I have, in that, it doesn't really have what you would typically think of a fall scent, because it does have that pear in it. And the pear really, really sweetens up the spice a lot. So even if you're not a super fan of spice, I would still give this one a try, because the pear does sweeten it up quite a bit. But it does still have that little kick of spice, so I think it still is really good for early fall. The next one here is Autumn Leaves. And the more that I smell this one, the more and more that I love it. When I first got it, it smelled a lot like maybe kerosene to me. It just had kind of like an odd fuel smell. But now that I've had it for a while, it smells more and more like actual wet leaves. Like if you put your face into a pile of wet leaves and smelled it, this is a lot like what it would smell like. But it also has some kind of fruity sweetness in it as well that's almost like an apple, but not quite. So I think that just keeps it from being, to me, if I stuck my face in a pile of wet leaves, it probably wouldn't smell very great. But this has kind of that good smell from it, and then it has that sweet fruitiness to really reel it back in. So Autumn Leaves is just perfect for early fall. Next one here is Spellbound. And this one is a mixture of caramel apple, it's got the Granny Smith apple and the caramel, and then it has cotton candy in it, it has vanilla, it has maple, it has butter. It's just an all-around awesome fall scent. It reminds me a lot of like going on a hayride, and then at the end of it having like a caramel apple and there being like cotton candy there too. It's great. There are 2 other scents that are kind of similar to this, caramel apple and Fair Day. Caramel apple is Macintosh apple, I believe, and caramel, and then Fair Day is basically caramel apple plus cotton candy. Of the 3, I definitely prefer Spellbound over the other 2. I just think it makes a better fall scent, in my opinion. And then the last one here I raved about in my August order, and so I knew I had to include it, and that is Under the Harvest Moon. And it is a combination that Victoria made of Leaves type and Why Autumn. Now, Why Autumn, I do not really like on its own. It has some note in it, and I think it might be licorice that my nose just does not agree with at all. But Why Autumn mixed with the Leaves type, it's just amazing, and I think it's better than the sum of the parts. This is one of those combination house blends that whenever you put 2 things together, it just makes a whole new experience that is just so much better than what these 2 scents are on their own. So if you're a fan of Leaves type, you would definitely love this one. It is such an amazing fall scent, and you need to run out and get Under the Harvest Moon as soon as you can, because it is perfect, and I cannot wait to light that one up. I will probably light that up September 1st. Okay, now we'll move on to my late fall scents. First one here is Apple Gingerbread Spice. And this is not your typical apple and cinnamon type scent, because it does have that buttery gingerbread in it. And so I really, really like how the gingerbread kind of plays with that apple scent in it. It's just really nice. I think it's like gingered apple crisp and buttery gingerbread, I think, are the 2 scents in it. So it is pretty heavy on ginger, but the apple really, really sweetens it up a lot, so love that one for late fall. Next one here is Amish Quilt. And this one's interesting because it has a bunch of spices in it. But to me, it doesn't really smell bakery and it doesn't really smell earthy, which is really weird because with spice, it's one of those two ways. Like, for example, with Earthquake, it's very much on the earthy side. It's like if you stuck your nose into like a jar of allspice and sniffed it. That would be like what Earthquake is. This has all those same spices in it. It has cinnamon, it has clove, it has allspice, it has cardamom, all those. But it doesn't really have like a buttery note or anything like a crust note or anything like that in it. It just kind of generally smells like when you're baking with all of those types of spices. So that one's a really great one. If you like spicy scents, definitely throw Amish Quilt in the cart because it is awesome. Next here is Spiced Apple Pie. And this is one that I think is probably what most people would think of whenever they think of fall scents, because it's essentially cinnamon and apple. And it smells a lot like a craft store to me. You know, if you walk into Michael's or Hobby Lobby or something, that's pretty much what this smells like. I don't really get a crust note out of it from the pie, but it's just that really, really nice, sweet apple cinnamon smell. So that one's really, really good. And it's definitely more on the, it's definitely like a bakery cinnamon as opposed to a red hot cinnamon, so that's really nice. Next here is Pumpkin Pickin. And this is probably my favorite pumpkin scent, hands down, from Victoria. And so this is one that if you don't really like spice with your pumpkin scents, I would give Pumpkin Pickin a try. Because it does have like the tiniest hint of spice, but to me, this smells like what true pumpkin smells like. You know, you could go for something like pumpkin vanilla or pumpkin cheesecake or pumpkin chocolate, but to me, those smell more like the other part of it. So the pumpkin vanilla smells more like vanilla with pumpkin. Pumpkin chocolate is like chocolate with pumpkin. This is just pumpkin, like straight up, and just a little bit of spice. And it may even be my nose playing tricks on me. It may not have any spice in it at all. But it's a really creamy, nice pumpkin, and I love Pumpkin Pickin. And then the last one here is Pumpkin Cider. And this, I believe, is a mix of pumpkin and apple cider. Oh. And if you've never had Victoria's cider scent before, it is so amazing. She has several different cider scents. There's this one, there's apple cider, there's mulberry cider, there's pomegranate and cider. This one's definitely my favorite out of all of them. Like, I even like this one better than apple cider just because, I don't know, this one's a little bit sweeter than apple cider, I think. It's just really nice with the pumpkin. The way the pumpkin kind of mellows out that apple cider is just really nice. Oh, pumpkin cider is great. Okay, so those are my kind of top 10 favorites for fall. Now I'll talk about these other candles over here. So the first one that I have burned this one, so the pretties on top are gone, but this is Caramel Gingered Apple Crisp, and it is in the Comfort candle line. I just think this is amazing for early fall because it's got the apple, but the apple is still fresh enough. It's not really quite like a baked apple. It's maybe like a little glazed on top, but it's amazing, amazing. If you love apple bakery scents, you would absolutely love Caramel Ginger Apple Crisp. And I'm not sure what the bottom is, if it's graham cracker crust or Granny's pie crust or something, but this top part is fabulous, and I think it's great for fall. The next one here is in the Black Label line, and this is Godfather. And I talked about this one in my Black Label review as this is an amazing fall scent, so I knew I had to bring it back out for this video. This one is more of a late fall scent to me because it's got clove and pumpkin. It's almost like pumpkin pie, but then it's got a little bit something else in it. So it's heaviest on the clove. That's like definitely the heaviest note to my nose out of this. But it definitely also has that pumpkin note in it. And it's sweet, and it's got that spiciness, and it's got that creaminess. Oh, if you have not tried Godfather, it is one that you need to get as soon as you can because it is absolutely amazing. The Black Label line, I cannot rave about it enough. try them. And then the last one here, this is Maple Butter Pumpkin Frap, and as you can see, I've not burned this one yet, because I'm holding out until fall actually arrives. But this one kind of reminds me of the way Starbucks smells in the fall, because, you know, they've got all those pumpkin scents going around, and then of course the coffee is in here. Coffee is definitely the predominant note. I think the pumpkin frappuccino scent is what makes up most of this candle. But it's also got that maple butter in it, so it's got that really, like, buttery goodness. Ugh. I love, 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 love this candle. I'm so glad I picked it up last time. Cannot wait to burn this one. This is in the mustard jar, and it's double wicked, so yeah. So those were my top picks for the fall. If you have any questions, if you're trying to find another scent and you don't think any of these will appeal to you, feel free to let me know, because I have a ton more that I wanted to include on this list, but I wanted to keep it short. So as always, if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!